Joe, 1-1 draw with Evesham United today. How did you find out there?
It's frustrating. I think there's a lot of positives. I think we've dominated really the game, haven't we? We've had a lot of chances. We look really creative, quite exciting when we got in and around the final third, but we lacked a bit of a killer pass or a moment where someone really, I think, took responsibility. I thought we lacked that today, which is disappointing given the forward players that we got in the side. So I think they need to take some accountability for that as well, which I'm sure they will. And then, yeah, it's just frustrating because we obviously take the lead, and then probably with their second maybe shot of the game, I think they get a free kick on the edge of the box a minute later, and we've lost the lead within sort of 2 minutes. So I think when we look back on it, you probably look at a performance where we've dominated the game, had a lot of good play. We look like a team with a real identity that moves the ball well. But we just lacked a bit of an edge in the final third, I think, today, and we've switched off for a moment. And a team that's probably set up to come and get a point, which, I mean, that fair play, we do the same if we were newly promoted into this league, but a team that's probably set up to probably get a point against us has had an opportunity, and we've allowed that to happen, which is frustrating. But credit to them, because I thought that they were very well organised. They proved to be a good threat as well on the counter-attack, but we're a little bit frustrated.
Joe mentioned it there. It's almost that lack of clinical edge that was the reason we didn't get 3 points today. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely. You're not going to have that every game. Like, if all of our forwards could finish every chance they had, they'd probably be at even higher level. I just felt that we had chances, but it was, aside from the actual chances we had, I felt like we had a lot of playing around the box, and sometimes we just didn't have enough intent or enough responsibility. I'm looking for players to really play in and run and beat people and finish or cross with real conviction. And when we do cross, I'm looking for people to attack it with conviction, get across the front post. And I just felt we lacked that today. We did a lot of good things. With the ball, I thought for the most part, other than a few sloppy passes towards the end, I thought we used the ball really well. We got into great positions. But I think when you get into those great positions, you have to have conviction. And I didn't feel we had that conviction today. And if we did, I think, it's another scoreline on another day, because we have dominated. I don't think they troubled us a whole lot. But ultimately, the goal they score, we don't win the first ball. We're not physical enough. We're not aggressive enough. We don't get on the seconds. We give a sloppy free kick away, and something that we really need to cut out. We need to be a little bit more aggressive, a bit more dominant when teams are playing direct. So it's frustrating. I think there's so many positives with the lads today. I think all in all, you could argue it's the best we've played as a performance, other than probably in their box. So I think anyone that was here today would probably say the same. We just sometimes a little bit slow in and around the box, just change the speed. And again, like I said, just real conviction. I think if we have that, we might go on and score 3 or 4. But, I agree with Joe. Ultimately, Evesham came here with a game plan, and they'll feel, I think, quite positive with their draw, and rightly so.
On a more positive note, you could say, I feel like Harry Lee, who maybe you could argue struggled a little bit against Sholing when he made his first start. He was absolutely superb today, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think that there was a lot of, it's not all doom and gloom. There was a lot of good performances out there, and very few players didn't turn up. I thought there was a couple maybe that weren't at their best, but I don't think it's one of the ones where you can look at it and say that we haven't turned up or individuals didn't turn up. I thought Parksy was excellent again. And Harry brings you a lot of energy down the side. I think he's a good 1v1 defender. Needed to do a little bit better in the final third, like everybody else at times today. But I think there's a lot of positives, Con, to be honest with you. And it's sort of one of those results where you're frustrated, not because you haven't played well, you just know you feel like you deserve a bit more. But that is football at the same time. We're 4 games into the season. You had loads of highs, loads of lows already. And I think it's important that objectively, when we look back on it, we'll say that was a good Poole Town performance that lacked a clinical edge. And the lads, the subs that came on also, I thought did well, made a good impact. And I think, we've got an opportunity, which I'm sure you'll touch on Monday, to possibly turn this point into a good point if we go and get 3 points on Monday.
I'm talking about that game against Plymouth Park. It's a long old trip down there to Blowfield Park. How are you looking ahead to that one?
It's tough, isn't it? I think for anyone this bank holiday weekend, I think Not many people or teams in the league are going to be travelling further than us on Monday, so would probably say that we need to give a message to the boys to make sure that they recover and prepare right. I'm sure it's going to be hot again. It's going to be a long travel, and I think we need to see a lot of the same aspects of what we saw today and we saw at Bracknell, because starting to see a little bit of consistency, which is going to be important for us throughout the season. But I think we need to demand a little bit more from ourselves, and that includes on the pitch, in their box, and also just defending those longer balls. I think we have to demand better standards all round, because I think everyone's included. It's the boys that are defending it, it's the boys around it that get second balls, it's the boys up the top who, when the ball goes over their head, they need to recover even quicker, they need to pick up any loose balls. But Plymouth will be as tough as any game. We went there last year and we were on a really good run, went there and lost 3-1, so that can happen at any point. I think they beat Gloucester at home their last game. So yeah, it will be a really, really tough physical game, and we're going to have to be right at it if we're going to get a result.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, man.